Hey everyone, welcome to another video on Blender Geometry Nodes. In this video, we will see about Set Curve Radius node. This is part of the Curve Right node section. I release new videos on a weekly basis. Please subscribe to my channel so that you will be notified when I upload a new video. This is Jay from CJ Academy. Let's start. Okay, I have my own custom workspace setup. I'll share the link in the description how to set it up. You can take a look. We don't need this. Let's keep this aside. So today we are going to see about Set Curve Radius node. This is part of the curve right node section. It takes a curve input and provides the curve as output, and it changes the or writes the radius property. Let's bring in a Bezier segment to visualize this. If you see, it has two control points and it has written the radius property. And if you change the property here, it changes here. Okay, we can say it changes the cross section size. So we'll see two examples for this. So let's bring in the curve to mesh node to visualize this, and circle. It doesn't take mesh, it takes only curve geometries. So curve circle, and if you see, this is a shorter length, so you don't see it clearly. Let's change it here. So this is also one way to control. So just will control, change it in all the control points. But we need a bigger curve. So let's multiply all of it by 3. Okay, so now we have a bigger curve. So set curve radius node controls the radius property. It writes the radius property and controls the cross section size. It doesn't matter if you take a profile curve as a circular object or a different shape. It just controls that size of it. So it's even though mentioned as radius, let's say this is a cross section size. Okay, not just radius, which indicates that it's only for circular object. No. Now let's see one example for this to have this selection controlled. So we know the selection, wherever the selection is there, you can actually enter the compare node along with the index or any other property you have, and then control this particular property. It has taken index 1 and then set the radius to 0.2, and the next point the radius is 0 because it doesn't add anything to that. If you see the, okay, it has converted to mesh already. Let's mute this. So you can see 0.2 is here, the next is 0. So that means first point is 0.2 and then gradually reducing to 0. So we only have 2 points now. Let's bring in more points. So then it is easier to understand the selection criteria. Okay, now we have how many? 4 points. Total 5 points, including the 0. Let's increase this by a couple of times so that we get, okay, 9. 3 times, okay, 16, total 17 we have. Now if you see, so this is now setting the curve radius at 0.2 only for index 0. Okay, now if I see increase this gradually, the selection changes. So it's kind of a spaceship appearing effect. I put this to 0.5. Yeah, you get a nice UFO object. So you can actually control this by making this object flying through this curve. So how long this curve is there, you can make use of this particular setup to animate a certain object flying through that curve. This is one way. So if you change this to less than or equal, then you kind of have a appearing disappearing effect again. Okay, the whole curve just appears. If I go for this, then it is a disappearing effect. Okay, this also you can make use of it. So I want to show you two examples. One is horn, a bull horn, let's say. So for that, this setup is not useful. So let's disconnect this temporarily. So we are going to change the radius property using the spline parameter. We have seen this in the set curve tilt node also. It's very useful. So this, if you see in the top view, is already giving you a nice horn shape. We have not done anything. We just increased this by 3 times, so you get a bigger shape. I can disconnect this if you want so that it's not confusing to you. So we have subdivided few times so that the value is distributed in a nice way, and then radius is set using the spline parameter, so it's gradually changing from 0 to 1, and then a curved circle is added for the cross section, then it is converted to a mesh. And finally you can just add the set material here and add the material, add the color to the material. Let's go for a black color, and if you see the material shading view, you get a nice horn shape. That's one example. The second example I want to show you is to explain this set curve radius node is not actually talking about circular cross section. No, it applies for non-circular objects also. Okay, for that reason, let's bring in quadrilateral node. This is also a curved node, and change this one side. Okay, let's fix the cross section view. This is it's a square now. I'll change this to 0.1 so that you get a thinner shape. Okay, that's needed for a claw, a Wolverine claw kind of object. That's what we are going to do. So this is flat now. We have to keep it up straight. Let's change this to 0 and move this to the top. It's already giving you a nice shape. Put these to 0. Yes, this is almost ready. Just make a little bit of bend to this. Yeah, this is already ready as a single claw. So if you see this, let's disconnect here. We don't need this also. Let's keep this aside. So this setup, okay, this complete setup, let's keep this aside. So this is actually the claw. Let's say there's a single claw. Let's put it to single claw. Okay, claw kind of effect. So if you want to see this, you can see it's without the material. This is the one we are talking about. Now you just have to instance it 3 times along the line. Let's bring in instance on points. Set material can be at the last. This is a good practice. And this is not for the point, but this is the instance source. We cannot take a curve line because it doesn't have point option. Let's take the mesh line. It has points, number of points you can put. We want to distribute along the x-axis this way. So let's put this offset to 1. Okay. Okay, it's this way. And 3 points. It's already ready. Just change the material property. We have material set. Change this to somewhat whiter and apply a metallic view. Voila, it's ready. So this is now a Wolverine claw. Okay, so similarly, you can use the set curve radius node with different combinations to create a lot of different interesting objects. The potential is unlimited. Okay, so now you can see this is done using a non-circular cross-section geometry. So when I say set curve radius, it's not talking about circular cross-section. It just talks about any cross-section profile that you are going to implement, and it will change the size of that cross-sectional curve gradually from 0 to 1 or 1 to 0, depends on the control you have with the spline parameter connected with radius node. So that's about the set curve radius node. If you find this video useful, please like it, share it with your friends. If you want me to cover any specific topic in Blender geometry nodes, please let me know in the comments. Please subscribe to my channel. I will see you in another cool video. Thank you. Bye.